For the teams you love. You're listening to Marc Daniels and the Beat of Sport.
Happy Tuesday, boys and girls, and welcome to the Beat of Sports. I'm Marc Daniels. Not in studio where Chris is, but in Frisco, Texas. Big 12 Media Days underway today. And good to be back. Chris, when's the last show we did? Last Monday?
Was it Monday or Tuesday? I think it was Tuesday, no?
No, I was gone. I worked Monday, and then I left.
Oh, that's right.
And Tuck was in.
Yeah, we had a short week last week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Monday.
Well, good to be with you.
You as well.
How you been?
I've been good.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of work lately, but good otherwise. Daughter's going through a sleep regression right now, so she was up from 2 to 4 last night. So that was fun.
Well, here I am in Frisco, Texas, home of your Dallas Cowboys.
That's right.
How about that? We're broadcasting. Radio Row is we are on the goal line of one of the end zones, in the first of 3 long rows that are available to radio and different podcasts, different companies that are here. The normal football media day cycle, Big 12 goes first, and here we go. UCF is one of the 8 teams that here today. You bring your head coach, you bring players, you go through the car wash of interviews, and there's all sorts of other people here. Obviously, a lot of media people. Got some bowl people, college football playoff people, so all sorts of stuff like that. You try to book a schedule, no one follows it, and it's a typical day. But we got in yesterday afternoon. Dallas all abuzz because Spain-Portugal World Cup match at Jerry's World took place, which is in Arlington. I was here yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a massive watch party. Frisco's just outside, about 25-minute drive outside of Dallas. And they had a massive watch party. I sent you, I think, pictures and video of that.
Yes.
Just outside of our hotel and outside the structure we're in here, the Ford Center. And, I mean, there must have been 1,500, 2,000 people there last night. Which was great. The outcome wasn't great, but that was fun. And here we are up and at it today inside this facility where we were here last year for this event. Then 2 years ago in Vegas, 3 years ago, UCF's first year in the Big 12, we were at Jerry's World where the Cowboys play. But all kidding aside about the Cowboys. And, Chris, you've never been here, right?
Practice facility, no. I've been to AT&T Stadium.
I'm telling you, the next time you go to a Cowboys game at AT&T, you've got to make the short drive here. It is unbelievable what they built here. And I know a lot of NFL teams have built something similar, but this, I mean, even I can appreciate, joking aside, it is amazing what they built here. I mean, I know the Dolphins facility is also right up there, but this is insane just because of the proximity of everything, the practice fields, their training room, then the economy that they built around it of shops and bars and restaurants and businesses, which has then led to kind of a sprawling area of Frisco. But this facility is amazing. And if you're a Cowboy fan, all the history and stuff. And yes, Chris, Rowdy will be here today.
And you are going to make it an annual thing to get a picture, right?
I will get a picture with Rowdy. At some point, I will indeed get a picture.
Mark, you know what I'm going to do with these pictures? I'm going to create like a collage and put them on a shirt. And we should we should hand those out to Beat of Sports listeners. Marc Daniels and Rowdy together.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hadn't really thought about that, but sure. I think. And again, the crazy thing about this event is you schedule interviews and then people run late or whatever. But I hope we're expecting to get Scott Frost, Terry Mahajer, and some other folks, maybe a few media people. Our good friend Lachey Duzable is here and roaming around. And like I said, a whole bunch of national media people. It's interesting what's happened to these media days. And I'm not going that far back. You can go back even we were in Dallas 3 years ago for UCF's first Big 12 Media Day. There's less people, not because there's less interest. There's less people just because of our industry. Okay, yeah. That's a big thing. Are you waving to the Texas Tech Red Raider mascot? Oh, it's a Bearcat, the Cincinnati Bearcat. Oh, okay. All right. Got a mascot that wants to like throw bows with us over here or something. You know, it's a fun event because it's kind of an unofficial start to football season, but it's not like the last time you get to talk to coaches and players, but it's, everybody's in a good mood and all sorts of stuff. But there is that theme. And I said on the bridge, took an elevator ride 4 floors up with Joey McGuire, the Texas Tech coach. And you're like, hey, you've had an interesting couple of months, haven't you? Wow. A lot going on.
I was gonna say, is there any buzz about Brendan Sorsby?
Right now? No, there isn't. I mean, he'll be asked about it when he does the media session, and he's last among the 8 coaches today. Not because of that. That was announced a couple of months ago, and I'm sure he'll be asked about it. But if Sorsby were still on the team, it would be a massive story. But I do think the Big 12 kind of has a sigh of relief that it's not hovering over this event. Like every conference football media day, the commissioner will kick it off with a press conference, and Brett Yormark will do that at 12:30 Eastern time today. And I'm sure he'll be asked about it. But Yormark is, I wouldn't say robotic, but when he does these things, he really controls the setting. I mean, you can ask questions, but he kind of has a planned answer and so forth. But, it's not a massive story because we've kind of moved on from it and everything. And, and Texas Tech is still the favorite. The conference released the preseason all Big 12 team yesterday. There was no UCF Knights on it. I did vote a couple of guys on it and did not expect them to make first team. And that's a sign of just where things are at right now with the program. I see DJ Lagway in a Baylor uniform.
Different.
Yeah. But, got a smile on his face, and I'm sure he's happy, and he's got himself a good NIL deal and all that stuff. So there's DJ Lagway and media session and some photos over there. So that's kind of the vibe of what we got. I'll quickly do this because, we got a lot of stuff in football to get to today. I commented on the bridge, and I'll do a short version here. Last night's soccer match, if you just analyze the match itself, Belgium's the better team. They played better. They were far more aggressive. Their pressure early. They got the goal. The U.S. tied it up. And then a quick second goal by Belgium I thought was deadly. It took the wind out of the American sails. And if you go 1-1 at the half, I think you feel really good. Then you're down 2-1. Then the embarrassing goal that the U.S. gave up to fall behind 3-1. Look, Freeze at 38. We need a better goaltender. He's not the reason why they lost, but that goal changed everything. Instead of being down 2-1, 3-1 is a massive difference and lose 4-1. Belgium was a better team. They deserved to win. Hard stop. 2, I thought yesterday the entire day was embarrassing. The last couple of days was embarrassing. I consider myself a soccer fan. I've laughed at the way some members of the media have become soccer experts, like they became WNBA experts with Caitlin Clark again last week. It's not that you can't follow the game and understand it, but my position was I thought the red card on Balogun in the first place was a bad call, but I accept that bad calls happen, and a red card's a red card. The extent of what took place the last couple of days, particularly yesterday, was embarrassing. It made the rest of the world in soccer want the outcome that they got last night, which is unfortunate because I think the Americans did earn respect with their performance throughout the tournament before the poor performance last night, and we ended up with the rest of the world rooting against us. Whatever happened, and I think some have fishtailed the story as to the role they played, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. That's not what the U.S. lost, but that part was embarrassing. Belgium filing an appeal, that's just to show support to their players, their country, and the rest of Europe. And when UEFA, which is the European governing body, put out their statement, that was supporting a European team. But you also can be honest. The outcome was bad for the Americans in the sense of when it came time to measure up in the biggest match, they were outclassed. It doesn't mean that you don't build positives of what took place this month. Try to build on the momentum. If you're new to this team, do not anticipate the next international competition to be as big as this. The next events Copa America, Gold Cup, they will not be as big as this. They will not generate the same excitement. I don't know the future of Pochettino with his team, despite the contract offer. I'll lean to I think he's non-committal right now. Christian Pulisic wasn't healthy, but at the same time, the results are the results. Right now, the 4 leading goal scorers in the World Cup are the 4 best goal scorers in the world. They score. Great players play in big moments. Pulisic wasn't healthy, but a World Cup goes by where he didn't get to shine. So it was a fun month. A lot of people are happy the way the outcome went. It happened painfully because it wasn't losing 3-2 on a late header by Belgium in the 118th minute. It was a slow, painful exit when it became 3-1, and it ends. Still a great tournament left with teams, but that's it for the Americans. All right, a lot of stuff we're going to get to on this Tuesday from Big 12 Football Media Days in Frisco, Texas. But I believe first it's everybody's favorite segment.
It's almost like an unwritten rule that when you become a father, you become king of the bad dad jokes.
What is Forrest Gump's password? 1 Forrest 1.
Are you ready to laugh? We know at least one person is. Here's CV's dad joke of the day.
Oh, that's so great. Mark, I've gotten better. Got my mug. Got my sign.
Yeah.
I went 1 for 3, I think, with Tuck. No.
1 for 3.
No, sorry. He did like the joke yesterday. I went 2 for 3.
Okay.
See if I can get you on the right track here.
Mark, right.
What do clouds do when they become rich?
I don't know, Chris. What do clouds do when they become rich?
They make it rain.
You like that one, huh? You like that one, huh? You feel pretty good about that, huh? Wow. Strong.
Make it rain.
Yeah. I got it.
Never fear. Marc Daniels is here. Welcome back to the Beat of Sports.
10 o'clock hour, WY, Orlando, WJR, HD2, Cocoa Beach, in Frisco, Texas. Big 12 football media days going on. Our next guest predates Big 12 football media days. I'm not aging him, but the great Barry Trammell, now with the Tulsa World and longtime columnist and historian of college football. Remember your first media day?
My first was the first, 1996.
Yeah,
1996. The Big Eight, until the last couple of years, didn't have media days. They had the old Skyriders tour. I don't know if you even know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody, the media gathered wherever, first place, and then would travel together from school
the
to school.
SEC did the junket too, yeah.
It was so close knit that mostly you could go by bus from stop to stop.
Yeah.
So, but then the media day is a much better idea. And so 96 was the first. We had the 4 Texas schools came up and joined us, and generally held over at DFW Airport. Not near as big of an operation as we see today, of course.
What'd you make of the offseason the Big 12 had?
Well, I mean, they had the same kind of season college football had, which is sort of disheartening in that not a lot of discussion about football games or teams or players. It's all politics, athletic politics, the playoff, the rev sharing, the CSC, all those, the federal legislation. I got really tired of it. Still am tired of it. Don't know what to do about it. Glad to get here, and maybe we can talk some football. Probably I'll talk politics, but
gambling. We're going to talk gambling.
Gambling, for crying out loud, how'd they leave out Brendan Sorsby? So, yeah, I mean, Brendan Sorsby was worth about 2 months of content for people. So it's crazy. But that, I was talking to my managing editor who 30 years ago was lamenting the decline of Major League Baseball and how, everything was going wrong. And I don't even remember what was going wrong in baseball in the 90s. But he said, the thing that keeps me sort of heartened is the games are still good. And if we can just get to September and start playing ball games, the games are still great. So that's what I'm looking forward to. So that's the hope. And I think Big 12, like always, is going to be pretty wild. And we'll see. The Sorsby helps bring Tech a little bit back to the pack. We've had a different champion now. Is it 6 years, 6 champs, I think is the way it works. So that's going to be a really cool thing if we can keep that kind of mystery and intrigue going.
I want to play up what you said. Why does the game still survive all this? Maybe it's the case you said with baseball as well, but in the end, we still are on the edge of our seats in late September, October, November. Rivalries to some degree still exist.
I got an answer. I got an answer.
Yeah.
The vast majority of fans don't care about all that stuff.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Now, a small percentage do, and most of the media does.
Yeah.
So that's what we talk about and write about and carry on about. But most of them, if I start talking about the CSC, they don't know what CSC means, and they don't want to know. They don't want to know anything about Cantwell or Cruz. They don't want to know, the Texas Tech quarterback is gambling. Well, get rid of him, or what's wrong with that? I mean, it really doesn't stick with them deep. And I think once the games start, they think, hey, this is great. Now, football's lucky because it's a sport where the personal connection is not great between the fan and the players. Everybody's in helmets and armor, and you don't know what they look like. Most of the guys, the quarterback maybe or a star player, you sort of feel like you get to know. But most of the players, you don't feel a personal connection to. The connection is with the uniform. Like in basketball, the transfer portal in basketball has really hurt the game because the fans connect with basketball players. They don't connect with football players.
Right.
So the fans are still there cheering, and the TV's still great, and that's why it all works, I still think. Now, basketball is a different animal, and I'm worried about the future of college basketball.
I agree with everything you said. The one thing, though, that I do think we've lost a little bit is because of the fact that players come and go, I don't know if they care as much about that logo that maybe mattered when somebody's dad played there. He was born to play there. He was always going to go there. Waited his turn to be a starter, played. Is a great story. I'm sure there's still some stories out there, but we have such a percentage of players that are just bouncing. Do they care?
Well, I don't think there was as much school loyalty as there was.
Yeah.
I don't think there was as much pride in the jersey you're wearing is in how much money you're getting paid.
Yeah.
I think that's a literal sense. But I do think they still play hard.
Yeah.
Now, where one of the potential problems, and maybe we've gotten rid of it with the new 5 for 5 years eligibility, over 5 years. The guys who would play 4 years and then 4 games and then say, I'm out. I may be going, so I'm going to protect this year. Now that's where fans will start jumping off the boat if the right tackle all of a sudden says, I think I'm through for the year. That could cause a gulf in the fan connection with the sport. But I do think the players still play hard. It's just for different reasons. And I was thinking about this the other day. I don't know what UCF's roster makeup historically or now is. But at Oklahoma, far fewer Oklahomans playing for the Sooners. Fewer Oklahomans playing for the Cowboys. It's even reached a point where, in the old days, 95% of their rosters were from Oklahoma and Texas.
Do people care about that anymore?
Well,
it's about wins.
I do. It is about wins, but I do think that's another thing that breaks the loyalty thing.
Oh yeah.
And so I think it's become, it's become transactional instead of relational, much more like the NFL. The NFL, nobody's, franchise pride is not really a thing in the NFL, and they seem to be doing okay, so we'll see. But as long as the games are good, the problem you see with you don't want the competitive balance to get out of kilter. And frankly, competitive balance is better than ever.
Yeah.
Indiana's the champion. That's all we need to know. IU.
Tell me in the state, how did it go so wrong quickly for Mike Gundy, and what's the state of Oklahoma State right now?
Well, here's what at Mike Gundy, he let go of the rope.
Mm-hmm.
He did not adapt to the new era. We weren't sure of that, but as you go through the 24 season and things just not working, you think, does he really understand the portal? Does he understand player retention? And then by 25, we knew that was the case.
Yeah. And
he basically just sort of let it go, and it unraveled quickly. In 24, they were not bad. They were ranked 13th. They'd beaten Arkansas, and they played Utah in a top 15 matchup. It was one of the biggest games in college football, and Utah beat them in a good competitive game. And they still played some close games. Almost beat BYU and Provo, but last year they were just wiped out, and they just not a good roster. And if this is not the most remarkable changeover, Oklahoma State has 87 new players.
Yeah, we did 70 last year at UCF. Yeah.
There are more players on this 26 football team who have played for Eric Morris, who's in his first year.
Right.
Then have played for Mike Gundy, who was the coach last year.
Which I guess you could say it's the benefit
it's crazy.
of whatever system we've got right now.
And here's another one.
Yeah.
I went down the website of the 45 first names listed on the football staff. And, anymore, it used to be 15 or 20, but coaches, analysts, scouts, trainers, medical staff, communication, all that stuff. First 45 names listed. 3 were at OSU last year. This is an expansion team.
Yeah.
They're wearing OSU threads, but it's an import. It's an import. So they ought to be better. They should be way better. They got a good quarterback. Mestamaker clearly can play, and So, I mean, there's reason for optimism, but it's a blank slate. You don't know anything about this team.
I want to ask you about Oklahoma for a second. Has that fan base adapted, as everybody else needs to adapt in this world of super conferences, that 10-2 can be a good year?
Yeah, pretty good. There's been a pretty good mental adjustment. Yep. No, yeah. Especially since, I mean, they've gone 6-7 years 1 and 3 of Venables.
Right.
So that'll sober you up pretty quick. So, they were whatever they were, 10-3 in 23, and then last year made the playoff. So I think people are realizing that the playoff for most team is now the standard. Don't really worry about the record. Did you make it? Like in basketball, we don't really think about what anybody's record was.
You get to the tournament.
Getting in the tournament or getting a good seed so you can advance. And I think that's what we're going to be in college football.
We're going to get 24?
Sure looks like it, doesn't it? I mean, I'm anxious to see. I understand why your Mark and the Big 12 switched.
Yeah.
But my question is, why did they, whatever the reason they are switched, why weren't they there in the first place? 24 has always meant more access than 16. Always. So what made them switch? The SEC was in the position of power, and now it's not. So it sort of had a palace coup with the Big Ten. So that's interesting to me. But I do think that a 24 is going to hurt the regular season. Because
I do think so. I think we're losing a
lot. A school like UCF or OSU
will benefit.
No,
sure. Yeah,
it won't hurt the regular season because they don't really wake up in the morning thinking they're going to be 11-1.
Right.
But if you're Oklahoma or Georgia and you lose to somebody in September, you think, who cares? We're still going to make the playoff.
Alabama Auburn will still matter because it's Alabama Auburn, but it's better if something was really on the line.
That's right. That's exactly right.
And we lost by 6. We're still going, right?
I mean, in college football, so screwy. I mean, forever we didn't change a thing, or didn't change the playoff format. If we did, it was just tinkering with bylaws. And now we had a playoff of 12 for 1 year and said, well, let's change it. Now we've had it for 2 years. Well, we got to expand. We got to expand. So it's a crazy sport, but we love it, and the product is always good.
Barry, thanks.
You bet. Good luck to the Knights.
Tulsa World and one of the great historians of college football. We're in Frisco, Texas, Big 12 Media Days. We're coming back with more after timeout.
Hey, it's Johnny Manny from Johnny's House.
Look, we've got you covered with the hits and what's going on in the City Beautiful.
And Mark, he's got everything you need to know in the sports world, with maybe a touch of sarcasm.
This is the Beat of Sports with Marc Daniels.
We're in Frisco, Texas. Big 12 football media days underway today. UCF is one of the 8 schools that go today. UCF Athletic Director Terry Mahajer. So you look like you're running for Senate. You look nice today. You look really sharp. It's good looking suit.
It's business.
Yeah,
Thank
well,
you.
I know. You're all business, huh?
You know, wear a tie. I don't wear a tie very often. I used to now.
You used to. I remember your
Prior to
introductory press conference.
I
You
wore-
said we were coats and ties to the office every day.
I don't think I said that.
Yes, you did.
I did.
Yeah.
I said I had. Did I say that?
And I respected that. I said, hey.
No,
that's-
actually, it's funny you say that because I don't remember saying that at the press conference. But I will tell you this: I wore a suit every day.
Yeah.
Except for on Fridays for my tire AD career until.
Well, we were
COVID.
different times back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now I very rarely wear ties.
Have you seen your friend Cody Campbell yet?
Is he here?
I'm sure.
I'd love to see him.
I
I'd
don't
love
know.
to see him.
We got on the elevator last night to go up to watch the second half of the soccer game. Joey McGuire was in the elevator.
He's a great guy. He came and gave me a big hug. I love Joey.
I said earlier, even with the last 2 months, people don't realize in our league he's increbly liked and well respected.
My God! I saw him. He was like, "Hey, how's your daughter?"
Yeah.
And I said, "We were just talking about you because I was with we took some time off.
Yeah.
My daughters flew in to Florida, and we were talking about Joey. He was like, how nice, and he always asks about my middle daughter.
Yeah.
And they met once in spring meetings, and but he's a super great guy. And I was like, how you doing, buddy? And he's like, it's tough, May, but hey, listen, he's one of my favorite guys in our league. He's up there, tied with my second favorite coach in the league.
What's the?
I like all of them. They're all second. So
as this event kicks off and a new year begins, where's the Big 12 at right now?
I think there's a lot of parity in the Big 12, and I think I go back and forth. I've been doing this long enough that everything's cyclical. And when I was a young guy, I first started in the business, Big 8, Big 12, we were a dominant conference. I mean, think about that. We were winning the Big 12. The Big 8s. I mean, national championships were coming out of the Big 8 with Colorado, Nebraska, Oklahoma, and all those. And then, then the Big 12 formed, and we had Nebraska was still really good. Colorado was good. A&M was starting to, peak a little bit. And then, it's just, and then the SEC had a great run, and when Nick Saban retired, changed a little bit, more parity. And then all of a sudden NIL and rosters became a little bit more parity. I honestly believe that the Big 12 is in position to be good. We just have to continue to evaluate and not be victims of the circumstances where we are right now. We got to continue to evaluate, develop young people, and coach kids that we want to coach and kids that want to be coached. And that's the key. Those 4 elements are the key. I don't care how much money you have. And we're competitively resourced. I don't care how much. You know what? We can show you, and I know we've talked about this many times off air. Is we can show you all the schools that have big payrolls, and I mean, there's just we have to continue to double down on our philosophies and our rooted principles. And I understand you got to have some money for rosters. Don't get me wrong, but it's a new scholarship. I was just saying something to a couple of our staff members the other day. Where we, I was like, what's really changed when 17, when we went to the Peach Bowl and beat Auburn? I said, did they have more money than us at the time? Yeah. Did LSU in 18 have more money than us? We competed with them. I said, yeah. Did they have a recruiting advantage? Yeah. Did they have better facilities at the time? Yes. Did they have what? I mean, it kept saying yes, 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 but we still, why do we go in this? And I'm asking you this question because you've been around.
Yeah.
Why do we go in and why do we compete with those teams? It's because of the belief system, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're asking me, it's that there was a system in place that allowed you to succeed at the level that you were at, and we got a few things that got in. No, I'm not arguing, with that. And part of it is, I think, the Big 12 doesn't need to chase the other 2. It just needs to be what it is and be the best that you can. And yet I asked this question, and maybe the last couple of months we saw this, is there a unified front? It may have been 15 versus 1 when it came to the Sorsby case, but
we're unified.
Yeah,
absolutely. 16 strong. I mean, this was that was a little challenging. And listen, it was challenging for Texas Tech too. I mean, listen, it wasn't, but we're 16 strong.
But what's the most challenging thing of the structure right now for you that you wish you could fix realistically?
Just being able to enforce rules. That's it.
But do you have willing partners to do that?
I think there are some. They say they talk a good game, and then behind the scenes they want to.
But how do you ultimately say yes or no?
Well, that's the unfortunate part of this congressional help. I think is going to have to happen, and to have some type of limited liability protection to protect us, and to create rules. It's so frustrating because we have the greatest league. And, that's in our country, the NFL, and they have rules. There's a lot of parity. They have caps, no caps or conventions. I mean, all these people, you don't think all these owners that are the most aristocratic people in this country wouldn't find a way to cap circumvent if they didn't. They have people forward. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Of course they could, but they have rules and they enforce it and they get
I know, but the president of Michigan just said, I don't want to give up the advantage we've spent the last century plus working on. Let me pivot to something else.
But what's the advantage? What advantage are they? They've always had the advantage.
I know. But it's comical because you can't tell me one week that you want rules and then not. But let me move on. What do you like about where Scott's?
Well, can I just ask you one question about that? Because we're talking about this. So Michigan, they've had a lot of money in the last. Okay, they hired Dusty May 2 years ago. Took them 2 years to win a national championship. Didn't mean like they didn't have resources the last 3 years.
Oh no,
but they hired the right coach.
Right. So, I just think that their leadership doesn't want equality. But let's move on.
Okay.
What do you like about where Scott's at right now versus a year ago when it was a mess? But as you look at the job that he and his staff did in building a team, where they're at now compared to a year ago?
I think the culture he's building is been really good. The engagement, it's again, like I said, it's the evaluation, and I think he's brought in really good people. We've hired a really good GM, Trip Mossberg, that also is really good with the evaluation and very diligent, hardworking guy. Doesn't rely on the coaches to do evaluation. Does his own evaluation. Doesn't report to the football program. Reports to our administration. He's done a really good job. We separate the money and the coaches, so there's that clear demarcation line of I'm coaching you, that money go upstairs, so it's kind of nice. So that has been a really good. So I don't have players coming in to our head coach saying, hey coach, I need another X amount of dollars. So I think that's really helped, but he's put together a really good staff. It's probably as good a staff I've ever been a part of. And I've had a lot of coaching staffs. I've had a lot of guys that were on my staffs over the years that are SEC head coaches. And I think from top to bottom, his staff is really good. Not only because I think they're really good coaches, I think they're really good people. And I think when your head coach and your coordinators and your position coaches and everybody that's in that building that are good people that are all on the same page, looking at how to evaluate, how to develop, finding kids that you want to coach and kids that want to be coached. That is a huge piece of this.
Yeah, I would imagine building culture, which we throw out a lot. It's hard.
It's an overused term, but you got
to identify that because you said it's not just the talent. You got to have people that want to be coached and be in your program. And
you've seen it. You've seen how many you've been around this. How many kids, even in our league, whatever, they're exceptional talent.
Yeah,
but maybe weren't as coached.
No, that's the challenge of all this.
So I would.
And our margin of error is thinner.
So I think that's why I think Indiana did an amazing job in this last off season. I studied it, and one of my former staff members is their director of player personnel, and is basically the way that they evaluated talent, developed it, and the ones that wanted to be coached and the ones that they wanted to coach. That's the key. It's not just about evaluation. It's about kids that want to be coached.
Now he's going to sustain it. That's the challenge.
That's right. Well, yeah, well, that's trained. I mean, he had a Heisman Trophy quarterback. I mean, that's always the biggest thing. So, and I think Scott's done a really good job. He got here so late with the evaluation of our quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I went back and looked at this. You probably know since 1996 when we went FBS, and you take our elite quarterbacks that we had, program changing quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Dante, Bortles, and Mackenzie Milton.
Yep.
I said, and then we'll even take Dylan's first year. He won 10 games. You take those years that those guys started as a quarterback. our winning percentage was 71%.
Health of the position, man.
I know. So, hey, 71%. Hold on, 71%. So I'm going to ask you to guess. Outside of those 4 quarterbacks, what do you think our record has been since we've been?
Well, it's sub 500.
It's 50%.
Yeah.
Okay. So the evaluation of the quarterback is absolutely, and I think he has done
health,
and the evaluation of quarterback, and I think he's done a really good job because not only I think we have a really good quarterback, I think we also have really good depth, and the guys that are weighing the wings that are going to play, and he's also growing high school kids, which with this one-time transfer portal, free transfer portal passes. Or if that happens due to congressional help, I think going back to the high school evaluation is really important.
You're in 5 for 5. You're good.
That's passed. Yeah, I'm good with that. I feel bad for the kids that that don't get it. But
you had to pick a year to start.
Yeah, I mean go
to court.
Yeah. So that's another thing. And so, but yeah, it is. I really do believe that that's a really good thing.
I hope we're consistent though.
Well, I hope there's no waivers.
Right. I mean, start it 5 for 5. That's it.
Yeah.
Let it go. Thanks, Terry.
Thanks, brother.
Appreciate it.
Man.
Come back. We're at Big 12 Media Day in Frisco, Texas. We'll have more after timeout.
This is the Beat of Sports with Marc Daniels.
We're back in Frisco. Big 12 football media days continue. Night fans will see this guy making play after play after play. Alonzo Barnett, the quarterback, is with us. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me on, Mark.
A day like this kind of starts the season.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of makes it more official.
A little bit. You started to ramp up.
I know you've been working with your wide receivers and the drills you can. What's it been like to connect with your group of pass catchers?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I've heard a lot about, Speedy and the returning guys, D Wade, Waden, Day, and a bunch of those other guys. But to be able to, work with them in person and truly get to see, what gets their gears grinding, how they operate day in, day out, what type of people they are. It's been, really refreshing to see that I've been surrounded by good people. And, when you talk about people we brought in like Josh Derry and Jonathan Bibbs and all those guys, I mean, they're all on the same line as well.
What do you like about Coach Frost's offense that fits your game?
Yeah, so it's a really versatile offense. You have some under center stuff. You have your RPO game, and I think what I like the most is it's really in the quarterback's hands. A lot of trust and command is required from the quarterback, and that's really what I've been the most comfortable with.
You are new to this team, and yet you inherit a leadership role, both as a quarterback and someone that's a veteran of college football. What does that mean to you when it comes to your role as a leader for this football team?
Yeah, it means the world to me, but at the same time, it feels weird because, in my head, I still feel like that freshman that, walked into campus early in Harrisonburg, Virginia. But I think with that, there's with great power comes great responsibility. Is a quote that people always refer to, and for me, that's what I'm the most comfortable with. I believe the God-given talents and abilities that I've been given, has led me to be in this position. And so when you get in a position like this, you can't cower. You have to maximize it.
What was it when the process for you to take a look at a place to play your final season? What made the decision go towards UCF? What stood out?
Yeah, obviously the people. The people in the building, like it's a family atmosphere. You see, Coach Beck with his son on the strength staff, Coach Duval with his son on the strength staff, and you see everybody with their kids around, and that's what I look for. Just comfort and a family type atmosphere because football is our job and it's serious, but also you want to have a little fun and know that the people to the left and right of you, truly have your best interests at heart. And then when you just talk about football, I think it's obvious with the pedigree that Scott, Coach Frost has within, building a powerful offense. Coach Millen playing the position at a high level, being my position coach, and Coach Cooper being the brains of the operation. For me, it was a no-brainer. It was a no doubt. And, I love the location of Orlando as well.
Any downtime for you this summer? Do you get a chance just to kind of chill a little bit?
You get a chance to chill a little bit in the afternoons, but there's still a lot of work to be done on the weekends. Is probably where I get most of my downtime.
Yeah. What do you like about Orlando since you've been a resident now?
Shoot, it got off to a rough start. I had to bring down a puffer coat, and I was like, "What the heck is this?" I thought they said Orlando was hot, but I really like how it's sunny. Just you can go out flip flops, shorts, t-shirt every single day, and not have to worry. Well, I mean, you have to take an umbrella with you too, for the 3 o'clock rain. But
that tower is going to be done, and I'm sure you've heard people tell you about the bounce house. You excited for the first game in the
yeah. Every time that I ask somebody about the bounce house, they say how the stadium shakes.
Yeah,
the locker room doors open and close. So,
are you happy with your rating on EA?
Well, I think I was like an 86. I mean, it's cool. It's a cool start, I guess.
Yeah. Does that like motivate you or something?
Nah. I think it's pretty cool to be able to say, hey, like I'm a 90 something overall with these badges, but outside that doesn't motivate me. It's just cool to be on the video game that I played growing up.
But what's your thoughts on the Big 12? Competitive leagues had 6 different champions in 6 years. Just what you know about this league and what you're looking forward to in this league.
Yeah, I've always seen the Big 12 from afar. Obviously, you've seen your Kyler Murrays and your Baker Mayfields of the world. I think what I like the most is how it's been a really quarterback-friendly, conference. See a lot of throwing of the football, which is something I'm comfortable with, something I've been looking forward to, and showcasing that, ability in my game. So I'd say you hear a lot. I've seen a lot. I've seen highlights. I like to watch highlights each and every week. from schools. So I love the Big 12. I always loved the Big 12 from afar. So to be right in the midst of it is pretty cool.
I know you're busy. Thanks for coming on.
Oh no, I appreciate you.
Alonzo Barnett, UCF quarterback. You'll be seeing a lot of 14 this year. You can take that off. I know you got a whole bunch of things to get to. Healthy and busy with an off season, working on his upcoming August with his football team as well. We're going to get to Matt Michon a little bit. Matt is our normal Tuesday guest, and we just got a bunch of people we're going back and forth with. I do want to talk. David Epps is the CEO of the Peach Bowl, and it's going to sit down and chat with us and get his thoughts on a whole bunch of things. And first, thanks for sitting down and chatting with us, David. How are you?
I'm great. My pleasure to be here. It's exciting to be talking college football.
These media days kind of make it an unofficial start to the season. I want to ask you, obviously, our group in Orlando, Florida Citrus Sports, you know everybody there as well. The competition to keep the neutral site game alive, what does that become? Not just city to city, but teams not wanting to give up home games, and you've got work to do to make it worth their while. How's that changed in recent years, and how do you go about approaching that?
That's a great question. It's so much more nuanced than people think it is, and it's more nuanced than it used to be.
Right.
Before you just had to find a couple of coaches who were willing to play anybody, anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
In this day and age, with the conferences going to 9 conference games, if you have a rivalry on top of that that's out of conference, that eats up 10 of your games.
Yeah.
You have schools like Florida, Georgia Tech, who are making these huge investments in infrastructure. They're few and far between, right? And you have coaches who have to anticipate what the selection committee is going to value. Right. If you got a team that's going to say, hey, I'm 9-3 in December, but I lost to a top 5 team versus I'm 10-2 and I beat a middle of the conference team. Right now, it looks like the CFP committee is valuing 10 wins. So all these things working against it. What you really have to do is find teams that may have an opening in their schedule. What we did this year with Baylor Auburn is created an opportunity for Auburn to move what was a home game originally.
They played at Baylor last year.
Right, and move it to Atlanta. And then we're utilizing the NIL system to help invest in the student athletes to help promote the game. So that's one of the ways you can try to differentiate yourself, because otherwise all of us, Orlando, Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, they're very
Ireland. Now you get international competition.
Yeah, and even Mexico, right?
You
look at these and we're all going to be fighting for a very small number of opportunities. And you just have to run the risk of getting into a bidding war, which then the math doesn't even work on the game for anybody.
Yeah. Obviously you're in a good spot based on the history of your bowl. Does the bowl have a position on the playoff, sitting at 12, going to 24? I don't know how much that changes your business model at all, but what's your thoughts if you have one?
I think we can make anything work.
Yeah.
I mean, as a college football fan, I like 12. I think it works. It's got the right amount of teams. Ultimately, we're here to serve and provide a good product for the conferences and the commissioners and the teams and the fans. So we can make work whatever needs to work, because it's not going to change the way we do business. Ultimately, we're going to host 2 teams. We can still turn the games around pretty quickly. We've got one of the best stadiums in the world. So whether it's 12, 16, or 24, we're going to make work whatever they decide on.
I had Barry Chamel on, who I think is one of the great historians of the game. I know you know Barry well, and he said that despite all the noise out there, the game still, in a way, survives. Why? I mean, all the noise and everything, but at the end of the day, when the ball kicks off, we still care about the 3+ hours of that.
I had this exact conversation about 30 minutes ago with somebody. What happens between the white lines is hard to corrupt in college football. You can look at a lot of sports and you can see how influences, whether they be political, socioeconomic. Football is a meritocracy. You get those 22 guys on the field, they've got to battle it out. This guy's got to beat that guy. It's a true team game. And I think fans and media who cover and love the game appreciate that about it.
Yeah.
Is that it's hard to corrupt the game itself. And as long as we can maintain that, college football can still be a unicorn, I think, in this worldwide sports universe.
David Epps, CEO of the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And again, you got Auburn and Baylor the Aflac kickoff game, September 5, right?
We do. September 5th, ABC, 3:30 p.m.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
I don't know if we've got can we get Lewis before we take a break here? I don't know. He's in the middle of an interview. We got Lewis Carter over there. So I want to see maybe we can get Lewis before I get a break in, and just bear with us kind of juggling a schedule today. So Chris, I try to keep us near our normal break times, but we're kind of juggling things here in Frisco. It is interesting. And obviously we deal with our friends at Florida Citrus Sports and everything happening there. How these bowls juggle stuff and the international competition that now exists out there. So we're going to try to get Lewis Carter, the UCF linebacker, here in a second. As day one of Big 12 Media Days underway, 8 schools today, 8 schools tomorrow. UCF is among the 8 going today. And we are going to talk to Lewis Carter, the UCF linebacker, is going to sit down and chat with us. We just had Alonzo Barnett on a moment ago and get a chance to let this hitting machine sit down and chat with us. Last year, as I watched calling every play UCF football, began the year, I go, this guy's pretty good. And then as the year kept going, this guy's really good. And then was just a hitting machine. Linebacker Lewis Carter is here. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
I'm good. Like, this is an unofficial start to the season, isn't it, when you do events like this?
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. How's your off season been?
It's been good, man. Trying to get the guys together.
Yeah.
While at the same time working on myself.
Yeah.
Trying to become a better leader. Create a tight net group. A group of guys that's ready to work. Get the season going.
Was this a little bit different? Last year there was a whole bunch of new guys.
Yep.
Not as many for you. So what was the difference of last year to this year as far as getting to know guys and, as you said, kind of establishing your leadership role?
Right. I feel like it's different because we got a lot of guys that's been in the group, that's been in the organization, that's been through the ups and downs, that's been through the fire, been through the hard times and the adversity throughout the season. So it's different when you got those guys and then you got the new guys that you're bringing in. I feel like it makes it easier to be able to just pull the standard along and get the standard out to the new guys that's coming in, the transfers.
You got more guys defensively, if you look left and right, that you know from last year.
Yeah,
that's the strength of this team. Most guys coming back there, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Tell me why did you come back?
It's more work to be done.
Yeah.
It's a lot of more guys. It's a lot of guys out there playing to my left and to my right that I know that want to finish the season strong. That want to finish the year strong. That want to finish their last few years strong.
What do you think will be the biggest difference of last year's defense to this year's defense?
I feel like just more takeaways. That's one thing our coach has been emphasizing throughout spring ball. Just when you're away from the ball, violent arms, running to the ball. When you're near the ball, violent punches, using your hands. Just making a more bigger emphasis on the ball.
You're going to have a new body next to you in the linebacker spot. So tell me about the other group of linebackers that are working next to you.
We got a good amount of guys from bottom up. Young guys like Matt Akapensi, a young guy that approaches the meeting room like a vet. He don't back down to no questions. Throw his hands up as fast as me throughout the meeting room to answer questions and stuff like that. We got guys like Tackett Curtis. He's a very experienced guy. Willing to bring the boom to you. He catches on pretty quick. You got Jaleel Colbrough coming from ODU. He's a very versatile guy. He can run around very fast, very physical as well. He played Mike Will and Sam. He don't play a good amount of ball too. Very experienced guy. And then we got JJ coming back from last year, number 38.
Mm-hmm.
Very experienced guy as well. Another guy that can play all 3 positions, and he ready to work. And more like me, growing into that leader role this year.
What's your favorite hit?
Favorite hit?
Yeah, I mean, stuff in a run.
Okay.
Quick pass over the middle.
Yeah, no,
Blitz,
the run.
getting a line back.
Yeah, it's nothing like the run. When you meet a running back in the gap, it's just different. Especially with having a guy that's trying to probably run you over, feel like he can run through you. It ain't nothing like stopping a guy when he's trying to run through you.
Can you hear a good hit? The difference of a
hit? Yeah, you can. You can. When you connect, you can hear it. You can hear it.
Yeah.
That's
Coach Grinch, tell me about your relationship with him.
Coach Grinch is a great guy, man. He gonna bring the energy, and he gonna be the same guy every day. He gonna come in the building ready to work, and you just every day you know what you're gonna get from Coach Grinch, man. He gonna keep it the same. He gonna keep a lot of stuff same as, so you can go out there and play fast. He's a great guy. Bring the energy, like I said, and he gonna do whatever it takes to have you ready to play the game.
What did you work on that you believe you're going to be better at this year?
One thing I'm still working on now is really opponent tape study. Just being able to go out there and anticipate, know what teams are going to try to scheme up for us, know more of their strengths and their weaknesses, to be able to attack our defense. Just opponent study.
Did you get away at all this summer? Chance to relax or do anything or what?
A little bit. Yeah, I got a little time off with my family and stuff like that. Anytime I'm taking time off, I'm gonna make sure I, get around my family, enjoy time with my family.
What's a day to relax for you?
A day to relax? Probably a holiday.
Yeah.
If it ain't a holiday, I'm most.
Well, you're sleeping, you're fishing, hanging out with friends.
Yeah, sleeping, chilling, playing. I play a little bit of the game, video game. I like to fish too as well.
Okay, the video game. I mean, your rating's not what you think it should be, right?
Nah.
What's the rating?
I ain't gonna put a number on it, but
right.
Nah. It ain't what I wanted to
be. I mean, like, what's the deal with that?
Right? I'm not sure. It ain't for me to say, but we're gonna see.
Yeah,
I tell you that I'm looking forward to go.
It motivates you, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to go up throughout the season too.
Tackling machine, linebacker Lewis Carter. Thank you, man.
Appreciate you, man.
Lewis Carter, one of the leaders of UCF defense. All right, we're going to come on back. We got more at Big 12 Football Media Days in Frisco, Texas. We'll continue after a timeout. Thank you. 12 update, and now our World Cup update, brought to you by friends at Fiddler's Green Irish Pub. Yesterday, first match of the day, Spain beat Portugal 1-0, about 25 miles from where I sit, over in Dallas, Texas. That set up the Americans in Belgium, winner to get Spain. And last night, not the night the Americans had hoped for. They fell behind 1-0 early, tied the match at 1, then gave up a goal shortly after that. Ended up losing 4-1, and the run for the Americans is over in the World Cup. It ends the round of 16, and it kind of went painful. If you were a U.S. fan hoping for a bigger day, it just did not materialize. Argentina, Egypt goes today at 12 noon. Then Switzerland and Colombia goes at 4 o'clock before the quarterfinal round will be all set. That's matches today at 12 Eastern and 4 o'clock Eastern. The American run ends yesterday with a 4-1 setback to Belgium in the round of 16. A Fiddler's Green Irish Pub update on the World Cup, brought to you also by Carlsberg Beer and Jameson Irish Whiskey.
Let's really do the news.
Yes. Now it is time to do the news.
But now it's time for the news.
11 o'clock hour, WYJ Orlando, WJR, HD2 Cocoa Beach. It's the news. I'm in Frisco, Texas. Big 12 football media day is going on. The U.S. run of the World Cup ends. A 4-1 setback to Belgium yesterday in the round of 16. The Americans failed to advance to the quarterfinals. 2 more round of 16 matches today. Argentina, Egypt, and Switzerland and Colombia. Donovan Mitchell agrees to a new 4-year extension to stay in Cleveland with the Cavaliers. They may not be done. More on the possibility of LeBron James signing with them. Nick Vucevic did a Zoom call with the media yesterday, talked about coming back to Orlando, what that means to him. And he signs the 1-year deal to rejoin the Magic. By the way, all Big 12 team for the preseason announced yesterday here in Frisco. There were no members of UCF named to either of those teams, offense or defensive side. Elsewhere, happening in the world of sport. By the way, Chris, you fight up for the Colombia match tonight.
You know it. Viva Colombia.
Yeah, Chris is now on the Colombia bandwagon there.
Yes. As Frank will probably make fun of me. Frank, our engineer, will probably make fun of me for jumping bandwagons. Yep.
Yeah. No, I do get that. Aroldis Chapman struck out his 1,364th batter on Friday of last week. Most strikeouts by relief pitcher in MLB history, clearly breaking that record. Chris Sale became the 10th pitcher this past week and struck at least 500 batters with 3 different teams: White Sox, Red Sox, and Atlanta. That's a quick rundown of the news. Again, we're in Frisco, Texas, home of the Dallas Cowboys. And on this football media day, Preston Cushman, the big tackle for UCF, sits down to chat with us. This has to be uncomfortable. They make you wear the whole outfit and everything today?
Yeah.
With the shoulder pads and stuff, right?
Well, they got the AC bumping in here, so I'm not sweating my butt off, which I usually do in the home state of Florida.
Stretching this on what's the last thing you wanted to do, right?
Yes.
I mean, be honest. Right?
Yes. No, I would rather be in my nice comfy clothes, but hey, we're getting all cool pics and stuff, so it's good.
What'd you eat for dinner? You went out to that fancy dinner last night. What'd you eat?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
So Nick and Sam's, well, they brought out the seafood tower, so we had all the lobster and all the crab and stuff like that, so that was great. But then I got a Wagyu sampler. I would have to say it's probably the best steak I've had. So
Really?
I haven't ate much Wagyu. I don't know if any at all. And the Wagyu was amazing. It was super tender and buttery. It was awesome.
How about the sides?
You know, I was so full.
No sides?
No, trust. I had sides. I'm saying I was so full from the seafood tower and all the Wagyu that like I just barely picked up the cream corn and the lobster mac and cheese. Obviously great. Didn't get too many greens in last night, but that's neither here nor there.
Dessert? They bring out that smoked cake thing?
Everything. They brought in a cake that was dang near taller than me and a big cotton candy thing
That
with
was
light show.
smoking,
Yeah.
yeah,
It was there was some theatrics. They sang me happy birthday. Don't know if it was my birthday yesterday, but that's also neither here nor there. Yes.
You know, it worked. What's the biggest difference from last year to this year? Last year, Coach Frost comes in, a whole bunch of new people. There's some new people, not as many, but what's the biggest difference from 1 year ago to now, you think?
Yeah. Talking about, I think we were gelled as a group last year. I truly believe, and I know we're closer this year. We had all of our coaches actually like when I came in last year, we were still hiring staff and stuff like that. So we were kind of not all jumbled together, but everything was thrown together real quick. So that was something in itself. But I think as a unit and having all of our coaches and all firm feet, we were really set in stone there. So I think we're closer on every aspect. But what stands off to me in our offense, at least, is how much more detailed we are. Not more detailed, but we have much more firm feet in everything we're doing right now. We've changed up some words and stuff like that. We haven't changed any scheme or anything, but maybe changed up some verbiage and had Alonzo back there commanding things. And
what's that been like?
I tying that all in together. Like Alonzo is such a smart player, and
it's not criticizing guys before, but when you get a multi-year vet,
our guys were great last year, and like I said, first year staff and stuff like that. That brings its own different thing.
What can you tell about him that, okay, this guy's got it?
I think the smarts. He commands the field. He sees the whole field. It makes the offensive line much more firm feet, and that he sees what he wants to see. He's going to tell us what protection. He's going to tell us whatever he wants, we're going to do, and he's got the rest covered, and he'll get it to our playmakers. And whatever he tells us to do in the pass game or run game, whatever he calls, we're good. So we know he's on his P's and Q's back there, makes us much more firm feet. We know his cadence. We know his tempo. We know how he's going to slow the thing down if he does see something. We know how he's going to check something. So we're much more on point as a unit with checking things and just getting ourselves in the perfect call every play to go win that down.
About the rest of your line, there are some new faces that came in. I mean, a couple back, but what's it been like to bring in some new bodies, and thoughts on the rest of that line?
No, it's been great. Gelling another group of guys. We're offensive linemen. I was telling them, if I talk to any offensive lineman here, we're all the same dudes, and we get together pretty well.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Or just go eat a plate of food, and we'll start talking about whatever nonsense. So it's been great with those guys. Very good players, very smart players, and just guys that really care. So they want to go out there and win and instill their dominance on everybody. So we have the same mindset as a group and same work ethic, and we know what it takes to win. We've brought guys that have played a lot of snaps, so they've been great for our unit and great for our team. So I can't wait to start that.
Talking to a few people today, we, media, administrators, we spend so much time in noise on all this other outside stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing you don't care. I mean, you understand it's become a business, but football's still football. I would imagine you don't pay much attention to that stuff, do you?
No, I really don't. This is obviously a blessing for them to have me come represent UCF and UCF football. It's been a really cool experience, but all this stuff for me is just the extra stuff that comes with football. I don't care at all, to be honest. And our team doesn't. We're really just bonding as a group and getting better as a football team. All this media stuff and them projecting us certain rankings is null and void.
But I mean, like government help and CSC and all that stuff. I mean, I would imagine you don't spend a lot of time going, hang on, let me read this 10,000 word article.
No, I don't do much reading anymore unless it's that playbook, to be honest. I haven't read a book in forever. I don't read much. So just probably my Instagram reels is the only thing I read. So.
Did you get away all this summer?
So I actually just came back from Punta Cana for July 4th, which is a crazy thing. We went out of the country for July 4th. So
fish?
We went fishing. We caught some mahi. There. I went fishing the weekend before and caught some red snapper and did that. But that was in St. Petersburg, where I'm from. So being from Florida, I've had access to hunting and fishing. So that's been great, going able to shoot.
I don't have you
like
in Punta Cana. I don't have you as the lounge by the pool, get a tan, chill.
Well, we had about 20 family members there. So I had to domesticate myself, if I must say so myself, and lounge around a little bit. But there's a swim up bar. You're able to go get a drink and just relax. So it was a good time. So we were there 5 days. So I was ready to get back to America. But I'm glad they had the fireworks and USA show in Dominican. I didn't know if they'd have all that, but they know. So we had a good time.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you're the man. Thank you, sir.
Cushman. We're at Big 12 Media Days here in Frisco, Texas, the Cowboy facility. We got a lot more to get to. We'll come on back after a timeout.
This segment is presented by Bowegan's Beer Company.
Green inside.
Let's tackle the latest news from UCF and around the world of college football with the Orlando Sentinel's very own Matt Murschel.
Give him the Heisman now.
Hit up Matt on Twitter at OS Matt Murschel.
He is a man of many talents, and he's on the Orlando Magic beat right now as his colleague Jason Beatty gets a well-deserved a few days off. So Matt Murschel juggling things, not with us here in Frisco, Texas at Big 12 Media Days, but still covering the event, doing interviews from back in Orlando. Good morning, Matt. How are you, my good friend?
I'm doing well. Just trying to keep up with everything, and sad that I don't get to enjoy some of that delicious Texas barbecue.
Well, the food's always good here. Breakfast was fine, and lunch will be in a little bit. Matt, last night, Scott Adams is out here with us as well. We get on the elevator at the hotel to go up to the pool deck. We're going to watch the U.S. soccer game overlooking a big watch party. Get on the elevator, and Joey McGuire's on the elevator with us. And I said, hey, don't worry about it. You're still the odds-on favorite. No, I didn't say that, but that would have been fun. Anyway, let me get your thoughts. I know you've spoken to Terry and Scott and talked to others around the league. As this event kind of unofficial kickoff of the season, the offseason of the Big 12 and where they are now, what's your view of what was an interesting offseason with the Brendan Sorsby story, and now we'll begin to turn our attention hopefully to some football. Where's the Big 12 now as UCF begins year 4?
Well, I think the Big 12 is still in a solid position now. I'm sure the Brendan Sorsby situation, maybe has created some fissures, in the league a little bit. Obviously, Texas Tech was all in on defending Sorsby and his situation, and the rest of the league seemed in many ways not to be on the same page, and there was a lot of tension there. So I believe what Brett Yormark, the Big 12 commissioner, is probably going to end up doing is spending a lot of time trying to maybe smooth some of that. Maybe trying to behind the scenes, trying to working to make sure that this league is still on common ground. They're still 100%. Together on things. Now it's going to take a little time, as anyone knows. When you have a bad spat, something like that, it's going to be a challenge. To make sure everyone understands exactly what's going on. And let's be honest, Yormark flexed his muscles a little bit, and that's why the Sorsby situation ended up the way it turned out. So it's going to be interesting to see how Texas Tech handles that. We know Joey McGuire, as you saw him in the elevator. Joey McGuire is going to get a lot of questions today about Sorsby. He's going to have to answer those questions as best he can. He may try to avoid those, but as a league itself, I think the league is strong. You look at, Texas Tech is still probably going to be the favorite going into the season, despite not having Sorsby. BYU is just as strong as they were last year. You've got some other teams, Houston, Utah, maybe are going to be a challenger as well. But I think for Yormark, he's going to talk a little bit about what's going on inside of college athletics. Expansion of college football playoff is obviously going to be a hot topic among coaches and ADs the next couple of days, and the impact of the 5-for-5 model, on college rosters. And it's going to be interesting. I spoke to Scott Frost a little while ago about this, and he said, it's going to change a little bit how we look at some players that we thought maybe we weren't going to be able to have around, and now they're going to possibly be eligible to be back. So it gives us a chance to maybe look at them. So there's a lot of things up, and plus, let's not forget, as much as we're a couple ways away from this, Yormark has been very high about talking about the upcoming media rights negotiations. He believes this conference can get a lot more money in its next media rights deal. They've done a lot already to kind of create more value for the conference. So it's going to be interesting to see maybe where they're able to do moving forward to that. So still a lot going on, but the league seems to be on solid footing moving forward.
Matt, hold that thought. UCF head coach Scott Frost has sat down to join us at this Big 12 Media Day. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great.
We could have done this in Orlando, though.
We could have, but it's okay. 1 year later, what's different for you as you come back here? What do you feel your program and team's in a better place now?
It'd be hard to narrow that down. I feel so much more confident. I'm more comfortable. I think the staff's more comfortable. Everybody knows what we're trying to do and how we're trying to get there. I think we're deeper. I think we're way more talented. I think we got a way better team identity and culture right now. So it's fun to to do my job right now.
Ask Lewis Carter why he came back. These days players have options, and he said, I have unfinished business. And then he went on to talk about how much he enjoys playing at UCF and what that means to him. What does that mean to you when a guy like that says that?
Well, we naturally try to do it anyway. There's a lot of good men in our building, the assistant coaches, and a lot of people that are around the players and guys that care about these guys. So the relationships are strong. You really want to create an environment even more than ever that people want to be in and want to be around. And I think that helps you in retention, but it's also the right thing to do. And it's fun being in our building on a daily basis.
What did you like, and I'm going to ask you to focus not so much on the business side of it, in building this roster this year? Because you said you had more time. So as you evaluated players, what did you like about how you went about building this team?
Oh, Trent Mossbrucker and the other guys in recruiting did an unbelievable job because, we weren't just winging it. We had a plan going in. We knew what we needed. We had lists of guys at each position that we were able to get in touch with and bring on trips and be a little more selective. And just the level of preparation that we had going into this portal cycle, I think is a big reason that we ended up with a lot of the right guys.
Preston Cushman, when I asked him about Alonzo Barnett, he said the biggest difference is that when he's at this spot waiting for a snap, sees the whole field, everybody calms down, he is used to the pace. I think we sometimes forget when you rotate quarterbacks in and out, it is different. He just talked about having somebody in control, what that'll mean to the offense. Kind of elaborate on that.
Yeah, he has really good command presence. That's the term that I would use. Like he steps in the huddle, it's his huddle. He gets to the line, and if he needs to make a check or do anything, everybody's under control and he handles it. And I think he does an unbelievable job of seeing the field, making quick decisions, getting the ball in the right places. So take all the talent out of the equation. I think a lot of the intangibles that Alonzo brings are going to help us have a lot better chance of success.
Is there a particular unit, Scott, that you feel like you're much better at this year than last year?
I pretty much pick one. I'm a under promise and over deliver type of guy normally, but I want our guys to be confident. Defensive end is the one position. I got a lot of faith in what we have there, and Isaiah and Sincere and Bruno and Ken, and I think we're really strong there. Every other position on the field, I think we're clearly better than we were a year ago. Every position on offense for sure, and defensively, I feel the same way. And we got a lot of guys that we missed last year back that hurt us not having last year. So when you add a better mentality and work ethic and better culture and probably better overall talent and players at every position, I'm more confident than I have been.
Outside of talent, what's the one thing you tried to identify in any player you brought in?
Character is number one. Recruiting visits aren't necessarily whining and dining them anymore. It's kind of interviews too. Right. And, we got to know kids, asked them some tough questions, tried to bring in the right guys. On top of that, I would say competitiveness. Like I want guys that want to be out there competing and are going to fight till the last snap to try to get it done. I'm not sure we had enough of that spirit last year. But I feel really good about this group having that.
This league, you went through it last year. It's different than when you play, but what do you know better about the league, you think, as you go into this year?
We're familiar with, some of the teams now, quite a few teams that we played last year that are back on the schedule. The one thing that is different in this day and age is every team looks a little different from year to year. You're not sure what anybody else brought in, what they kept, what they got rid of. And so everybody kind of has a new team every year, but I'm more familiar with the defenses in this league, and I know Grinch is more familiar with how this league plays out offensively, and we've coached together now for a year, which I think is going to make a big difference just with continuity and understanding what we need to do to try to get it done.
Best golf score of the summer?
Man, I probably only played about 6 rounds, so it was not very good.
8 or 9 is a big game with what?
I was in the 80s. Not happy with that. I'd rather have a 7 in front of it.
Biggest fish you caught this summer?
Oh, let's see. I haven't really been fishing this summer. I was down in the Bahamas with one of the boosters and had a mahi get off right at the boat, so I guess I would count that. But my son's been begging to go out bass fishing again, so we'll be out soon.
What's his biggest catch of the summer?
Oh, he does better than me most of the time.
Yeah.
Since we've been down there, he's caught, I don't know, 6 or 7 fish over 6 pounds. He does a good job.
Last night, I didn't go to that dinner you guys when I was there last year. Did you get that whole big dessert that had the smoke and everything again?
We did.
It's a little over the top.
I tried not to eat as much last night, and I didn't, and I still felt awful coming back to the hotel. I can't believe how much food they serve. It was really good. The players enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it.
Hey, great to see you, man.
Scott Frost,
See you
UCF
soon.
Football. See you like in 10 minutes. Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
We're back. Matt Michelle was on hold there for a little bit. I think Matt is still there. Matt, are you still there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I don't know if that helped your story a little bit more with Scott right there.
It's good.
But let me ask you, what do you see the difference in him 1 year later? I mean, he can echo some of the things that he talked about, but I just think, you saw it firsthand, the disarray that he was scrambling to get stuff. But what do you think the biggest difference in Scott is from last year to this year?
Oh, I think he's much more relaxed and more confident. Not that he wasn't confident last year, but I just think knowing that he has some of the pieces that he has come, with his team, I think not having to deal with, kind of drinking through a fire hose, so to speak, as they like to say, when he first arrived, when it went with dealing with putting together a coaching staff, putting together a roster, dealing with transfer portal, NIL, and the revenue sharing, all those challenges. I think the ground was moving when he stepped on it, to get to start his time back at UCF. And I think now it's a lot more solid footing, and just, talking with him and just about things. You can just feel like, he likes the direction this program is going right now. He likes the way the staff is put together. I think getting Alonzo Barnett was a huge haul for them. When you think about, moving forward, quarterback seemed to be a position of uncertainty last year. Now you feel like everything stays well health-wise. That he's going to be a solid piece for them. So very different. I mean, just like a guy who feels like now he can get back to coaching rather than kind of focus on some of the off the field issues that maybe, coach in 2026 has to deal with them.
I do want to follow with this though. And I think UCF got to start winning though, Matt. They're about to enter year 4, and we understand you made a coaching change in last year. But and you travel around, and I go to every Big 12 city. You're as big as what the opponents think of you. And right now, there's not a ton of buzz. Obviously, Scott came here last year with a lot of national media because of him returning and so forth. But they got to get some mojo going. And the only way you do this is to win football games. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think at some point you can only kind of, ride that wave of nostalgia for so long, before eventually people start pointing out, okay, there can't be any more excuses. You could say, well, we don't have a billionaire booster who can put money in the program on a yearly basis, but there are ways to still find successes to still win. And I think that's something that UCF is going to have to do. I think the one thing I talked about Scott about this, just before spring camp started was, you've got to win on the road. You've got to go to those challenging venues. You've got to go to Manhattan, Kansas. You're going to have to go to Waco, Texas. You're going to have to go, to places that are going to be challenging, and you're going to have to win games on the road. The one thing that has really hurt UCF, I think, is their inability at times to win on the road. And when you don't win, and your opponent's, venue, I think it makes the fan bases think, okay, well, UCF isn't, really that going to be a contender ever, because of look what's happened. So they've got to get out there and figure a way how to win on the road. They got to figure out a way to how to be able to, assert themselves a little bit. You got to have some confidence. You got to have a little swagger. Listen, I know it's not, it's easy to say that, but you got to have a little bit of that swagger going in that, you believe you can do what you can do. And if they get a good season and they win 7, 8, 9 games, that changes a little bit. Perception will change. The national perception will change a little bit. And then you can start riding a little bit of that momentum. So yeah, I agree with you totally that you're going to have to win, and you're going to have to win soon, because eventually if you don't, the fan base will wonder what's going on here. What do we need to do to find a way to be competitive in the Big 12, especially when you look at other schools like Houston, BYU, those schools that came into the same time that are projected to be, finishing the top of the Big 12 this year.
Yeah, and UCF's road schedule, even the non-conference game at Pitt, tough, but not impossible. Then at Houston, at Oklahoma State, again, you go on the road and they play at Kansas and at Colorado. They don't go to Lubbock. They don't go to BYU. So, I mean, you're right. You got to go win some of those games. Brett Yormark is speaking right now. I did not hear some of the earlier questions, if he's gotten questions about Brendan Sorsby and all that stuff. But as he begins another year, and after the summer of the Big 12, Pat, my final question for you, what's the brand of Brett Yormark to you?
Well, I think it's better than it could have been if the Brendan Sorsby thing doesn't go the way it goes. If it turns out he ends up as back at the school and he's playing this year, I think he would look really bad going into this year. I think he would be in a weakened position, where people would think, okay, you're a conference commissioner, but you don't have much pull. You know what I mean? You think about, Greg Sankey with the SEC. You think about Tony Panetti, with the Big Ten. Those are guys that have some gravitas, and you got to wonder, okay, it's great you've done all these deals and everything, and you're making money for the league, but you're going to have to step up. I think what's going to be crucial for him over the next year is, just as I said earlier, about the idea of keeping this league together, getting everyone back on the same page, making sure that, it's not just Texas Tech versus everyone else, where I think, you go into a room and you decide. And I think that the other biggest thing too is, so I get Cody Campbell, I get him being a presence with Texas Tech and college athletics, but you can't let a guy like Cody Campbell run your league. You know what I mean? That's just a bad look. And I think if you're right, you want to make sure that that's basically the line drawn in the sand, that I am the commissioner of this league. We are going to do what we think is best. We're not going to do whatever one big mega booster believes is something needs to happen. So I think, he's a lot more solid ground than he was, maybe a few months ago. But again, what's the next step? What's going to happen? I mean, he just announced a big deal with Monster Energy that's supposed to help generate some more revenue for the schools. And I think that's something that, is going to be helpful. Obviously that's a big issue, but for right now, it's more about, can you keep this league together, make sure they're on the same page, and continue to move forward, because you don't want to see this get to a point where there's a big divide in the league and you've got some ADs who don't trust other ADs, and you get to the point where all of a sudden it becomes a league that's divided. This conference has been through that before. It did end very well, so they've got to make sure that doesn't happen.
Thank you, Matt. Catch up next week. Appreciate it.
All right, take care. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you, Matt. Talking about the deal. Brett Yormark announced, and he's doing his press conference now, a league deal with Monster Energy drink, who's the sponsor of this event, but also will be a league patch that goes on jerseys. So you can do your own patch, and now you get another league sponsor patch. But that Monster Energy drink is worth $1 million to each school. And that may not sound like a lot of money these days, but it is a lot of money to places like UCF that didn't have that $1 million coming in. So that's how the Big 12 and other leagues try to generate even more money for their schools. So Yormark announcing that a short time ago. We'll come on back. We wind down our coverage from Big 12 Media Days today in Frisco. We'll continue after timeout. Back on the Beat of Sports on this Tuesday in Frisco, Texas, Big 12 Football Media Days. I'll be back in studio tomorrow. Kind of a little bit of a crazy schedule to line people up, and no one's ever on time, so a little bit different type of Tuesday. But Chris has been handling things back at the studio. Brett Yormark is still speaking right now. And then the parade of coaches will get up there. 8 coaches today and players from the 8 schools, and then 8 more tomorrow. And Scott Frost, I think, is third among the coaches that will speak today. And we're inside the Ford Center on the campus for the Dallas Cowboys. Chris, I've not spotted Rowdy yet.
Really?
Well, one, I mean, doing the show, no time to take a photo. So when our show gets done, I still may be doing some interviews that we might play back, but maybe Rowdy's coming for the afternoon session. Get a little bite for lunch, and then maybe, I mean, the picture's going to happen. Don't worry.
I would like to see a picture with Rowdy and Nitro, if possible.
I could probably make that work. Nitro was roaming around here a little bit earlier. Yeah, they did the mascot picture up on the stage, which is just awkward because there's some odd-looking mascots.
Which one are you scared of?
The dude at Kansas State. Because it's supposed to be a wildcat, but it's human arms and human legs and just the wildcat head, and you're like, that it's just uncomfortable. You know, you either go all in on the mascot outfit or you don't. And it's just a little bit odd when you're like, oh, there's a wildcat head, and then it's 2 human arms and 2 human legs, and you're like, what are we doing? Like West Virginia, the Mountaineer, they just go all out. He wears the full outfit, you know, the hat. Okay, with a gun, probably a little bit scary, but human arms, human legs, human head, and so forth. But Oklahoma State, no, but he's meant to be a human. The Wildcat's an animal with human arms and human legs. Pistol Pete of Oklahoma State, it's a human, so he can have human arms and human legs and just a weird face, but you know, the life of a mascot and everything. But yeah. And then tomorrow's the second day here in Frisco. We are flying back tonight, so I'll be back in studio tomorrow. But good chance to catch up with a whole bunch of folks today. And hearing from Alonzo Barnett, the UCF quarterback, some other night players, and Scott Frost and Terry Mahajer. We're going to track down a few other people as well. There are, I think it's, what was there, over 400 different credentialed folks out here, and most of the national media gets they're set up, and you kind of bring the players and coaches through, and TNT's here, and Fox is here, ESPN are here, and they do a lot of their preseason interviews and pictures and things like that. So, yeah, one more break. We'll come back before we wrap it up on this Tuesday from Big 12 Media Days in Frisco, Texas, with more of the Beat of Sports.
Time for the latest news, gossip, trends, and off-the-wall stories. Trends. Ooh,
that's the craziest thing I ever heard.
Wrapping up our day here in Frisco, Big 12 Media Day. Brett Yormark was asked about the Brendan Sorsby story. He said today was not the day to talk about that, but the day to celebrate the 16 schools in the Big 12. He was also asked why of the Power Four conferences, the Big 12 is the only one to sign the Collegiate Sports Commission agreement without getting too complicated. The one that says, here are rules that we're going to follow. And he said, because rules matter to us. He wasn't calling out the other leagues, but he said, my membership is on board. Now, that's interesting. If he says his membership's on board, I think the majority of schools would like rules enforced. I think there are some schools in this league that perhaps don't want it because they like the ability to spend whatever they want. So when he said that, I'm not close enough to hear what the reaction may have been, but there might have been a little bit of a chuckle because, let's not kid yourself. There are some that are spending $40-50 million on a roster that don't really want somebody to come in and say, well, here's a cap and here's a floor. But anyway, and I mentioned before the league announcing a jersey patch deal with Monster Energy, which is interesting because half the league in Monsters on the Pepsi side, half the league's a Coke school like UCF, but you don't reach the agreement without everyone getting approval, and it's worth $1 million to UCF. So, Chris, other than a picture with Rowdy, can I bring you back I want to take a few of the Cowboy coffee cups to take back for you?
You know what? I wouldn't mind that. If you get a chance, I don't know if you can or not. Yeah. Troy Aikman beer. I know it's a light lager, but you can get some Troy Aikman beer.
Okay.
You asked.
No, I know, but I haven't seen anything in a can. The only place I've seen the Aikman beer is at his own place over at Texas Live, and there is a bar here that it just pours on tap. I don't see any cans.
All right. If there's a good brewery, you think?
All right.
There's like a good IPA.
All right. I think I'll do what I can. At worst, I'll steal you some Cowboy coffee cups here. Bring that back. But when Rowdy shows up, I promise you, I'll be among the first to race out there to get.
If you can, a picture with Rowdy and Nitro together with you in the middle, that would make a great T-shirt.
How about the West Virginia mascot holding up his gun towards us? Would that be good as well? That's it for us today. Back in studio tomorrow, flying back later tonight. So we'll be back in studio for a Wednesday show. We still got a lot of stuff to catch up on it being out last week. So we'll get to all that. Keith Smith, plenty of basketball stuff to get with him. Probably a few more football interviews from today as well. Miss any of the program, go where you get your favorite podcast. Type of the Vita Sports on demand for the entire show. The video stream's available at our YouTube page, 96.9 The Game Orlando. Thanks, Chris. See you tomorrow.
See you, Mark.
Chris produced. I'm Marc Daniels, the Vita Sports.